Well, we are so excited to talk to you about this movie. This is something that's very, very personal, I know, to a lot of people. In fact, this gene is in my family. So it's just it's nice to see it out there. Something we kind of need to talk about. And so I'm sure within all these conversations about the film and through the film festivals, you're excited for this finally to come out for everybody else, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we
Absolutely.
want the film. We want the film to create an awareness and then have people to educate, entertain, and educate an audience about exactly what the BRCA gene is and how it affects. It can affect the family, and people who suffer from this genetic mutation, that you're 10 times likely to develop cancer. So you have to make some serious decisions about your own personal health and about your future and about how you're going to deal with this.
Mhm.
It's to create an awareness, and hopefully more people will talk about it, become aware of it, and then investigate. If you have a history of cancer in your family, that maybe your family has this gene, the BRCA gene, and then okay, now I have to deal with that. So the great message about the film is that you're taking this fictional story, but it's very much a true story about this woman's journey and about how she comes to terms with this, and that she doesn't want to suffer the same consequences as her sister who's dealing with breast cancer. So she's taking preventive measures in order to protect herself.
Yeah, absolutely. And and of course this is something that even though the subject matter is tough and some of the scenes are tough, it looked like a really, really cool set with just some great talent. So you both probably have some great memories from the set, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it was such a lovely cast to be around, and everyone is so, as you would imagine, everyone is so funny.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, everyone, along with having great dramatic range, everyone was just had comedy chops to them. We were always laughing, but at the same time, we understood that like we have to make sure we get the story right. And the second, kind of what we were just talking about, like this story is equal parts informative, but also entertaining. We're raising awareness, we're sparking conversation, but it's not just, here to tell people, this almost like a PSA type thing. It's also, it's a story. We're here to entertain the audience. And, it was very cool working with vets, such as like Raymond and Bostwick and, and Jamie, Devin, like all, and Leslie Ann, all down the line. Like, it's very cool to be part of something like that.
Yeah. And how funny is Barry? He's he's the best.
I did not expect that guy to be as funny as he
Yeah, yeah,
was because
exactly.
it's hilarious. He's hilarious. I had such a great time with him.
Yeah, Raymond, you had a good time, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was fun because we took a comedic approach to it in the scene, and that I play this uber masculine guy who comes in, and then he realizes that he has breast cancer, and that how do you deal with that, and then not wanting to deal with it, but having to face the issue and in order to figure out what my next step is. So and I come in and I joke about it, with Devin about my circumstance, but you can tell that he's very much afraid because when you're dealing with cancer and then you don't know exactly what's going to happen. And I have a sister who developed stage 4 lung cancer, and from the time of her diagnosis to her demise, it was 6 months, and
Wow.
it was fast. And I watched her go through this journey, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to be a part of the film, and to be a part of a film that is going to educate and make people aware of the possibility that that the BRCA gene is out there, because I didn't know about it until I read the script, and even having this experience with cancer, because my sister died of lung cancer, and she
Mhm.
was a smoker her whole life, and to realize that some people can be susceptible to cancer without even you could have the best health regimen, yet if you have this genetic mutation, you're at risk. You're 10 times more at risk of developing cancer than a normal person. So it's a great project with a great message. It's entertaining. There's really, really good performances in it. It's this little film that has a big engine. So hopefully
Yeah,
people appreciate it.
absolutely. Well, both of you have really cool careers that people look up to and just think, see, I want to do that. But, you make it look easy, part of the job. So, what kind of advice would each of you give to somebody that wants to follow in your footsteps and tell great stories like this?
Raymond, you want to take that one?
Yeah, oh, you kind of the business kind of doesn't work like that. This kind of came as a gift from the universe. The casting director was a friend of mine who I'd worked with on The Closer, and she asked if I would be willing to be a part of the story. And when I read it, 'cause, I really wanted to involve myself with it because of my own personal experience with cancer, and then being able to be part of this like great story where it creates awareness. It's entertaining and it's educational. So I mean, if you're lucky that this happens to you, if you're lucky that someone asks you to be a part of it, I would say, say yes. Do it for nothing. Get involved. You're part. A lot of times, you're just part of a vehicle that's just pure entertainment. This also educates. So I feel lucky to be a part of it.
Yeah. How about you,
Yeah,
Michael?
the way a career unfolds, we can pretend that we have control over certain things, but a lot of times we don't. I mean, the advice that I always give is just be as prepared as you can be. And that doesn't mean just the material and the script and the sides. It's like educate yourself, learn about other people, be open, be curious. I also was not aware of BRCA. But I had come with already an idea of loss, of what it means to be vulnerable, of how to hold space with somebody, of how the importance of communication. I learned all these things by working on myself and by being an actor and learning empathy. And so I just felt like these are all the things that I feel like, Pat, this is the way I want to shape this character. So I think for actors, it's like there's always something you could be working on, even if it's just working on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's one's fun for you. So my co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys, caught the Hail Mary, went to the Hall of Fame, 50th anniversary of the Hail Mary. So he said, I got to ask you guys your Hail Mary moment, the moment in your life or career you just had to go for it and it worked out for you.
Ooh.
Well, I would say that was Breaking Bad. I
Yeah.
said because doing the I turned down the part several times before I actually accepted it. And then once you accept something like that, then you realize, oh, wow, I have to really do the work. What am I going to do with it? And then, just really, going for it and wanting to do something that creates, legacy,
Yeah.
wanting to put something down on film or television that is is impactful. So, if you're lucky, you'll get a few opportunities in your career, whether it be on stage or in film or television, where someone actually gives you the responsibility to deliver something that can just like move people.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great question, man. A Hail Mary moment. Mine goes all the way back to the beginning and back in college, right when I started acting. I was doing like the spring auditions where you just come out and do a monologue on a stage. And I thought it was just going to be like five people in the audience. And I hadn't really acted up to this point, so I didn't have much experience. I was mostly an athlete. I walked out there and there must have been 300 people in the audience. I had got this little dinky monologue that I put together from the library. I had no idea what I was doing. And I remember looking up and just being blinded by the lights. And at this moment, I'm like, there's no way I'm going out there. Like, this is obviously not going to happen. And then that was my Hail Mary. I'm like, you know what? Just go out there and just start talking
Yeah.
and just trust myself. Like, I'll let my mouth move and trust myself that I'll get through it. And if I didn't do that, if I would have walked away in that moment, I probably never become an actor. There would have been too much shame, I think.
Yeah. Well, last thing, this movie is so good, so full of great performances, and part of that is putting yourself in the right mindset to do it. What do both of you tell yourself before it's go time to go into these scenes, even when they're tough? That kind of keeps you on the right track.
Well, you do your work as an actor, you show up, you have to understand that you're being gifted with the responsibility of this part. So you have a huge responsibility to deliver. So you have to understand what you're doing. You have to do your research, you have to do your analysis, break everything down, then figure out how you want to interpret this information, how you want to, and we took a comedic slant on it in the film for my character, and that because of his nervousness and his, fear of the unknown. But you show up and then you understand that everybody is there for you, all the crew, director, other actors, everyone is there for you. They're all support. So you have this responsibility to be part of this team, and then you're trying to deliver this message. So you have to take it serious, because
Yeah.
it is. Acting is a huge responsibility.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's greatly answered. And I would just say, like, if we're talking about the moment before, after all the preparation, which every role requires something different over the years with experience, the process evolves. But for me, in that moment before the camera goes on, I try to basically throw everything away, be present, and be in the moment because that's where I think the magic happens. That's where the impulse happens. That's how I fell in love with the craft of acting, is not actually knowing what I'm going to do within the boundaries of the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you both did it. Thank you so much for telling this great story. We're going to tell everyone to check it out. Appreciate your time and the great answers. Look forward to talking to you both again soon.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
Cruz.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.